think it's important that everybody knows the reason why we structure Replace Your Banker the way we do is there is the education side of it, which is very important to the usage. There's also the hand-holding. They're walking you through it, where you get access to Jim and you get access to Christy and you get access to Adam and these people who can actually assist you in telling you that's a bad idea or that's a fantastic idea. Here's what I suggest. If you're a real estate investor, here's what I suggest. And I know you have background in investing in real estate, correct?
I do.
So absolutely. So, and Jim has background in financial planning and stuff like that. So, as much as, you guys know on this topic, which I think some would consider would be outside the box, you guys also understand the inside the box, traditional finance, right? So that's pretty cool that you guys can look at traditional and go, yeah, that does this, but this is better, right? And that brings me to my next question. So from an investment tool standpoint, obviously more traditional tools, 401s and IRAs and different types of, SEPs and, Roths and things like that. When compared to those types of things, well, number one, can we roll out of those more traditional investments into one of these IBC policies? Number one. Number two, if so, is it more beneficial, have you seen, and why do you think it's more beneficial to be in, say, an IBC policy versus a traditional 401 or an IRA or something like that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. One that we get all the time, actually. And it's twofold. So I don't want to sound like I'm against qualified plans, and I do not have my securities license currently, and so I'm not licensed anymore to be able to talk about those kinds of things. But having said that, so one of the advantages to the qualified plans usually is that a lot of times, if it's won through your employer, then you have a match.
Right.
And so we're always a fan of taking advantage of free money, right? Now, at the same time, there's also different taxes that we have to factor in. So you look at the biggest threat to your money, which is taxes and control and the market. So with 401ks and IRAs and all of those kinds of things, they have market risk, which we already talked about. They also have who's in control of that money. Is it you that's in control?
No.
If you want to pull that money out, can you pull it out?
No.
So unless you're 59 and a half, unless you're between 59 and a half and 70, they just changed it. Now it's 72. But unless you're in that range of being able to pull it out, then you're going to be penalized. So you do not have full control over that. So that's one side. The other is that you cannot take that money and then roll it into an IBC policy, because in order to do that, you cannot do it without tax implication. Let me rephrase that or change that answer. So you can pull that out and you could put it into an IBC policy. However, you cannot roll it over.
Okay.
So in order to do a rollover, it needs to be like kind to like kind, just like with real estate. Those of you who do real estate, it's got to be like a like kind
exchange,
property. Yeah. So in insurance, they also have something that's similar. So if you do have like a permanent insurance policy, they will let you roll that over, but qualified plan to an IBC policy, they will not let you roll that over. But the other problem with those kinds of traditional types of plans, and you're looking at that for your retirement, is that when you do have market risk, you have market risk.
Right.
So could you lose it all?
Right.
Okay. Hopefully you don't, and hopefully you stay in there long enough and you kind of weigh everything out. But these policies allow you to be able to take advantage of that. So we can sometimes help you to strategically take money out of those plans, depending on kind of where your stage is and your whole situation. So we can look at doing that and reallocating. But we also understand that what's the tax bracket on those qualified plans?
Right.
So aside from a Roth, what are the taxes going to be when you're pulling that money out for income?
Right. And especially if you're doing well, if it's taxed as income, like you got a big problem on your hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the other part to that is people think, okay, well, but when I get to retirement age, I'm going to be making less money.
Right. Well, that's the bad school of thought. But you need to
ask
replace
those who are
your
retired.
mind.
Yeah, replace your
Go to replace your mindset for that. That's not the idea. Me, I plan to have a Mai Tai in hand and sitting on the beach somewhere in the Caribbean.
Well,
my wife would love that.
Yeah, and even if you did have lower income needs, then you also are going to still have extra expenses with medication and medical. And I mean, it's just, Anyway, it's kind of like telling yourself right now, could you go back to whatever you were making 5 years ago?
Correct.
You could, but do you wanna? Not really.
No, that'd be tough. Yeah, that's really good. So, and I think that's the crux here, right? If we look at the benefit of, a lot of our clients are already, people probably listening to this already are clients of Replace Your Mortgage. And maybe they're not, but if they are, most times people that sign up for Replace Your Mortgage with us, the reason why they're doing that is for, of course, the efficiency side of it. It's a better product. It's simple interest. It's a better product, but it's the liquidity because of the control it gives you, right? It puts you in an offensive position, right? Instead of defensive. Mortgages, of course, are defensive. And same thing with this. I would argue that, IRAs and 401s and all those are defensive. Like you have no control over that other than what percentage of your income do you want to put in there?
Right.
That's it. And beyond, from that moment, the minute it hits that account, it's not up to you. I mean, I've heard plenty of stories going through 2008. This happened to my own family members where they were in a qualified, some sort of qualified investment account. And they were with I'm not bad mouthing anybody, but, like a Charles Schwab or an Edward Jones, like something like that. And it was like a little broker firm, and he didn't have much in there. I mean, he had maybe 25, 30,000 in there. 2008 comes, he gets no phone calls. But he has no idea what's going on. Till one day he just looks in there and he's got $5,000 left, and it's just like gone, And so, to no implications of the person that's managing his account, they don't
have any control either,
right? Yeah, exactly. So it's all on them, and there was no control there, and it really turned him off in a big way to all of those investments. He pulled everything out. I was like, I'm done because I want to control my money.